Welcome to Trauma in Our Veins, where we unpack the chaos of being human, from parenting, mental health, trauma, and everything in between. I'm Maggie.
I'm Erica. Our ground rules are simple. This is a safe space, so be kind. Respect differing opinions. Maggie and I use she, her pronouns for ourselves, and we speak from experience, not misinformation.
Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and non binary people. Welcome back to Trauma in Our Veins. We are so excited to be back with you today. We have some very large and very disturbing current events to discuss, and we also have some hopefulness to sprinkle in here and there for you. And we're going to top her all off with another Reddit story because last week was super fun. And on that note, away we go. How you doing, Maggie?
Oh, I'm doing.
Oh, we're doing.
How are you, Erica?
I am ready. I am raring to go.
Yeah.
We're gonna start with Linda. Listen, Linda. So, has everyone heard that they put ice in the airports? Super fun times, and the reason they did that is because a lovely lady named Linda from Arizona called into, well, that's not her full name, but called into some radio show, the Clay Travis and Buck Sexton show. I've never heard of it. Sorry, they've never heard of me either. Suggesting that while the government was shut down and TSA was not being funded, that they should put all their immigration officers into the airports to help. And then Clay Travis liked that idea so much that he brought it onto Fox News that same Friday. And by the Saturday afternoon, ICE was being deployed to airports. So, oh my God, thank you so much, Linda. I'm sure there are a lot of people who don't like you right now, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm on that list.
Hey, sorry, not sorry. But yeah, so how do you think that's working, Megs?
Oh, it's working out so well. There's like so many reasons why ICE is needed at airports, and they're being so effective and productive.
Okay, Christy. Christine.
Right.
Anyways, no, but
Ugh.
seriously, the congestion was not relieved. It was not effective. ICE is definitely still a strong presence. TSA did get some partial paychecks, according to the Federal News Network. So obviously not fully funded at this time because stuff keeps getting introduced and shot down. But either way, what ICE is doing is not what TSA does, at least from what we've seen in videos circulating on the interwebs. And of course, we take those with a grain of salt, but this is ICE we're talking about.
Yeah. And people are recording this shit live at the airport. So it's like, okay, like you can kind of tell if it's legit or AI made, but
It's getting harder, okay?
it honestly is. And that's a scary part. But
But there are
essentially,
tools. There are tools you can use to determine some things.
yes. So unfortunately, like from what we've seen, is one, they're not trained to be TSA agents. I think I saw somewhere that TSA agents require like 6 months plus training. And with ICE not having that training, all they're doing is standing around. They're just they're using their presence, but they're not actually doing anything. They're just intimidating people. They're not helping. The lines are still long as fuck. Like people are pissed off. Flights are getting canceled, delayed, planes are crashing and being rerouted, redirected because air traffic control is still super short staffed. So
Yeah.
there's just so much shit happening.
There really is. And honestly, there's so much shit happening that we can't spend all day just talking about these airports. So, we've got a couple
Mm.
things to talk to y'all about. But I do want to sprinkle in a little positivity here regarding ICE since there isn't much. But I don't remember the date, but there was a New York City student who had been detained by ICE and he was released. Here we go. This was March 19th. The article was posted on CBS. Dylan Lopez Contreras. He is 21 years old and he was released from a Pennsylvania ICE detention center last Wednesday as of the 19th. So that would have been the 11th. So he was released on the 11th after 10 months in custody. And some of the other articles and such that I read into here claim that his arrest was a mistake.
Hmm.
I believe it was his brother or his cousin was nearby and overheard the officers saying something along the lines of, "That's not the one, and take him anyway." And it was like, what? But that's not the point. The point is he is home. He is reunited with his mom, and I know that is one happy mama. And so we're just celebrating that with them today.
I hope he sues the fuck out of them and wins
Girl,
because
same.
10 months? 10 months? Are you
10.
kidding me?
Mhm,
That's more than, like, people that, let's say, I don't know, get arrested for, possession or something here in
mhm.
America. Like, you might get a few months in jail if it's your first time. 10 months
10
for
months
it
on a
being the
mistake.
wrong person.
Yep.
Like, that's
10 months on a fuck up.
ugh,
Yeah.
it's so frustrating.
And especially with what we're seeing of the conditions that are going on in these facilities.
Ooh,
Like,
yeah.
it's brutal. There was one thing I read said that, excuse me, someone who was sent who was deported by ICE, did an interview or something and said that the guards, I guess, in the detention centers were taking bets on who was going to unalive themselves next, and they
Yep.
had a pool.
Yeah, it's true. That's in Texas at one
That's
of the
fucking
main
disturbing.
detention facilities. Yeah, not only do they have that, but if you there is some footage of, like, some reporters went in there to document the conditions, and, like, they're sleeping on top of each other. They get hardly any food, and the food they get, some of it's, like, expired, moldy. People are getting sick. People are dying. There was a pregnant woman, or actually, there is currently a pregnant woman who has COVID, and they are not treating her, and she is just with everybody else. So we know what happens with that. I could go on, like, it's so disturbing. And
Yeah,
the thing about all of this too is they're trying to fund ICE more,
yeah.
DHS more than our own military and
Mhm,
education. So, like, Department of Education has received so many cuts, our
mhm,
military even. And one of the programs that they cut in the military that it took, like, decades to get this program to even be up and running is for sexual assault victims in the
mhm.
military. So, cutting things that are necessary and then trying to fund ICE to basically become secret police. Like, we need to just call it what it is. That's what
Mhm.
they are. Like, they're not following any regulations. They're not even following their own bylaws.
Yeah, and they're not only trying to fund more into DHS and ICE, but they're so adamantly trying that like I said, there have been deals on the table that would have funded TSA, but it would have withheld the funding from ICE for now, and they would have to readdress that later, and then, the Democrats were going to give some big concessions, such as banning masks for federal agents or requiring judicial warrants, which are hugely wrong. Those things absolutely need to be demanded. Uh, but when this deal came to Trump and he discussed it with Thune, I don't know who Thune is. Oh, Senate Majority Leader John Thune. I'm awful with names. So Thune and Trump were talking about it, And Trump said no. According to multiple sources, this is from something called Punchbowl News. That is new and on me. So I will say, again, take it with a grain of salt. But Trump said that the president wants Republicans to stay in D.C. and keep fighting with Democrats over DHS funding and the Save America Act. And not only that, Trump warned that he'd publicly slam Senate Republicans if they left town for the upcoming recess, which for once, holy shit, they shouldn't have. That part I agree with. But my understanding was that he was threatening the Republicans because he wanted to make sure that this stuff goes through, and he just kept denying all the deals.
Mhm.
That's crazy
Yeah,
that
'cause he wants the SAVE Act to go through.
Mhm. Oh my god, and this new ex we're going way off, but this new executive order has me freaking out. The one about the naturalized birthright citizenship stuff. Not naturalized, but the birthright citizenship.
Yeah.
And especially, like, I have a friend whose husband was born in another country, and depending on how that all pans out, with which what we're talking about is Trump is trying to end birthright citizenship. He is trying to make it so that if what he called it was go back to the old intention, I guess. They were talking about like 1898 and all this other stuff, but they are talking about the ratification of the 14th Amendment. So 1868, excuse me. When it was ratified in 1868, that was done to make sure that Black people were protected by US citizenship. Now, basically, what Trump wants to do is remove that. He wants to reinstate the 14th Amendment, and he put specifically in the wording, and I watched an interview on this. He put specifically in the wording that he wanted it to be open to the interpretation as far as allowing retroactivity. So they want to be able to look at any person who was born in the States and say, prove to me that you're a citizen. And a birth certificate will not suffice because birthright citizenship doesn't exist anymore. And the only thing that would suffice is a passport. Now, the problem with this is if you don't already have a passport and this shit passes today, then you basically are fucked because you can't get a passport without proving your citizenship, and you can't prove your citizenship without a passport.
Yeah.
So you can't leave. You can't get out of the country.
Which is the point.
It is. It is absolutely the point. And so you won't be able to leave, and you will also get absolutely no say in what happens in this country because you won't be able to vote.
Yeah. And my theory, just based on history and current things and a lot of the threats and just all like Project 2025 coming to life, every day, my biggest fear is that the goal of that is to make people slaves again, to have slaves here.
Yeah.
Like that's just how
I
it
wouldn't
feels.
doubt it.
And well, especially with, the latest thing where the UN was, or basically this was all of the world, but they were voting on reparations for slavery.
Mhm.
And the UN was trying to come up with a resolution. And the main goal of it was to call slavery the gravest crime against humanity,
Mhm.
and they wanted reparations for slavery's historical wrongs. And literally, the US, Israel, and Argentina are the only countries in the world to vote against it.
Yeah. That's insane. Like,
Yeah.
what kind of human being are you at that point? Like, what if you were okay, no, I'm gonna get off on a tangent, we can't do that.
Yeah, it's just it's fucked up because what's also interesting, and I just found this out like the other day, because I haven't really looked into Trump's family history too much because I just
Mhm,
never cared. But this information about his grandfather came out. His grandfather lived in Germany, I believe, and he was drafted in the war at 16, but instead of doing that, he fled the country illegally and he came to the US, and then he ended up becoming a business owner here, including a uh, brothel with minors and gambling and some other stuff. So that's how he made his wealth. He eventually, after all that, wanted to go back to Germany because he got married and he tried to get like his citizenship back from Germany and they said no. And the
Sorry.
the the letter that he sent for basically like reconsideration, he was begging and pleading to be reconsidered and saying that separating family is incredibly harmful and how it was causing stress on his pregnant wife and he was starting to become anxious and depressed because
Oh,
of him
no.
being denied citizenship and all this and like explaining how harmful it was and like how could you be so cruel to a family who's just trying to establish themselves here.
How
And they
millennial of him.
Right, and then they still said no. They still said, "Fuck no, you deserted the war. You are a
Mhm.
traitor."
Mhm.
So
And also
that
gross.
right. Yeah, and that needs to be talked about. Not only does Trump's wealth originally come from brothels with minors, people having sex with minors,
With an O,
that's
not
where
an E. Sorry, I just had a really weird vision in my head with coal, and it was just crazy.
but
Sorry.
But essentially, like, that's where his wealth comes from, and, like, nobody's talking about that. They think, "Oh, he's this amazing business guy." Well, first of all, his businesses have failed, and if we
Mhm.
look at his generational wealth, where that originally comes from, it's fucked up, and
Yeah,
the
and
fact
his
that he is now doing what Germany did to his grandfather, like,
mm,
are you serious, bro?
I can't, and, like, at the same time, it's also just you can't help but feel the irony of him being German. I'm sorry. I'm German too, so, like, I get it,
Yeah,
but, like, he's acting like it, you know what I mean? Like, he's
yeah.
proud of it. He is not the current world of the German people who are like, "Okay, listen, we didn't do that shit." He's trying to bring it back. Like, that's what I'm saying, you know?
Yeah, which if you know anything about Stephen Miller, if you look at his family history, it is very much very fucking ironic that he is so about deportation because
Mm,
I believe his ancestry is Jewish and
right, and
they
that's like,
were
"What are you doing?"
yeah, like are what? You're okay with this? What the fuck? Like I don't
Yeah,
know.
crazy,
All he's missing
crazy.
is the little mustache, just saying.
It's all on top of his head, and he dyed it orange to disguise it.
Oh, no, I'm talking about Stephen Miller. But
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, he doesn't have anything on top of his head.
No, he's bald everywhere, let's be
Yeah.
real.
He's got a little bit of a Friar Tuck situation, little 5 o'clock shadow Friar Tuck style. I don't know. Anyways,
I
I
think
don't know
it's
why I'm
his
being
wife.
so
I think it's his wife. It's what she likes. She's psycho
oh,
too,
she's
but that's that's a whole other story.
this is again, tangents, rabbit trails, woo. So on the note of Trump being an idiot, we did also want to take a moment to address the whole situation in Cuba that did occur over the past couple of weeks, months. Um, However, we are happy to be able to say that as of yesterday, the US allowed passage for a sanctioned Russian tanker, and they were able to provide a substantial oil delivery to Cuba. So that's awesome, but it doesn't undo Trump being an asshole, starting an oil war again. And that's
Again.
and that's also why he invaded Venezuela. Well, not invaded, but change the regime and whatever.
I mean, he literally kidnapped their president. I would say he invaded.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. That's a violation. I feel violated.
It
Uh,
should be a war crime, and the fact that they still haven't ruled on that is crazy to me.
mm, yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh man. But yeah, so we have a win in Cuba and that is amazing. However, we are not so fortunate in Iran. Trump thinks we are, apparently. but but according to the rest of the world, we
Right?
are far from it. And I know it's not a laughing matter, but if you don't laugh, you'll cry. So
Literally.
yeah, but one thing that I am so sorry, this is probably, like, super unpatriotic, but I really liked the Lego propaganda. I know I'm not saying that I like watching the strikes because at least I'm pretty sure they were smart enough to make them Lego and not the actual ones like our lovely leader did, or his team did. Who knows? But I am saying that I very much appreciated the very beginning of it when whoever made it, showed, the American people protesting Trump because we are, and
Yeah.
we will, and we need to, and help.
Well,
Not yeah.
that's not only that, but it's significant because that is what Iran was doing before we killed their leader. They
Mhm.
were protesting, except they were being like thousands of them were killed. Protesters were killed. And so they don't have the same freedom of speech that we do here. And again, we allegedly have that here, and we're seeing actively how that those rights are being stripped. However, Iran never had those rights. And so
Mhm.
for them to put that in their video, to me it felt so much more significant because I thought about how they have been fighting and protesting for so long and being killed for it.
Yes.
And I know a lot of bad shit has happened here with our protests, but it's just not the same, you know?
It's not. It's not, and on top of that, the things that we're being told are either flat out lies or they're incomplete. So, like, for example, when this whole thing started, we were told that a girls' school was struck with a missile that was supposedly aimed for a nearby um, military target, that, our exceptional military with all of their high tech shenanigans and are very proud of themselves for their aim, managed to aim incorrectly. We'd addressed that last week. But what we did not address, because we did not have the information, was that on the same day, February 28th, there was another strike. This one was in Lamerd. Lamert. I'm so sorry. I'm not going to pronounce it correctly. I'm so sorry. But there was a brand new, never been tested in combat weapon was used, which again, d isn't that a war crime too?
Mhm,
But the
mhm.
name, I even have the name of it, it's a PRSM, and after this strike was confirmed, they mentioned that it was the first time it had ever been fired. Basically, in some other press conference, a military member stated that it had never been fired, or it was done for the first time, that it was used for the first time, and that was in reference to the strike. So it's a weapon that, like, stop. I don't know how detailed I should get, but it's on the internet, so anybody could look it up. But it stops above the target and explodes, and then it releases pellets full of tungsten. So it is designed to detonate just above its target and blast small tungsten pellets outward. And there's videos of the strike and there's some images of afterwards, and it's pretty intense. It is that building, at least, is close to a compound that matters militarily. However, it has been walled off from that compound for at least 15 years, so it's not necessarily still a part of it. But either way, using a weapon that you don't know what it's going to do in a real life combat situation, pretty sure that's not allowed.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Yeah. Yeah. So, my point being, a long-winded point, but we we don't have the whole truth about anything here.
Yeah, we really don't.
Yeah.
And even like today, we're supposed to hear some address. And for our listeners, because obviously this episode's going to come out later, but
Mm.
this is April 1st. So ha
Yeah. April
ha ha.
Fools,
And
we wish.
right? Unfortunately, none of this is a joke. Fuck.
Yeah.
uh, so yeah, I think we're hearing some address tonight about the war, and even this morning, Trump was hinting that it was coming to an end and that there was a ceasefire between us and Iran. However, Iran immediately refuted that and said that is not true. And they made it very clear that they want their aggressors to pay for what they have done. So that includes us and Israel. So Iran is not done. And even like the Lego video we were talking about before, in that video, what was really clear is that they're waiting for us to hit boots on the ground. They want our military to cross the threshold, and
Yep.
they said that they would light them all up with fire. So
Mm.
that to me says they're prepared for us to cross over and that
Yeah.
they're just waiting and biding their time. But in the meantime, they're still going to keep firing off missiles and drones because for them, cost wise, they have so many drones that it they're not really losing that much money by using so many of them. Whereas us, to block the drones, it's costing us 500,000 per drone. That
Yeah.
is a lot of money.
But we can't pay TSA.
Right. Yep.
Yep, yep,
And
yep.
we fund the war even though this is the fourth week of the war and that we're already like out of money because of it. And
Mm.
can you imagine if this were to last years? I mean,
Yeah,
this
that's
is this is why it's so concerning because it has a global impact. We're
yeah.
seeing the impact not only on oil, of course.
Mhm.
Gas has gone up 40%.
Yeah.
And because oil has gone up, or well, yeah, oil prices have gone up 40%. And it's so that's like $120 more per barrel because
Mhm.
the Strait of Hormuz is being blocked.
Yep.
And not only that, but Trump is threatening all of their energy supplies. He wants to take out their water facilities, electricity, and all of that if this war continues. And
Mhm.
that would affect the entire Middle East having
Yeah.
access to clean water and energy. Like that is a war crime as well.
Which
And
wasn't his whole point that he wanted to liberate the Iranian people? Like, that's not how that goes.
no. And
That
we
feels
know that.
very Israel, not embargoing, blockading Gaza Strip. Isn't that exactly what they said? Crazy. But also, it's not just oil that's being impacted, like Maggie said. Fertilizer. There is a fertilizer shortage happening, and it is going to potentially impact the whole ass world's food supply because even in California, they're already starting to feel some of the effects. Their exports to the Middle East are not going, so they're not getting their income from them, and then things are not coming out, you know? Nothing is working as it should because of Trump saving the world. Yay.
Yep. And even with the latest, like with the post office is now going to be charging 8% surcharge tax on any package being mailed or like shipped anywhere. And
Mhm.
That is insane, and they even said that they don't have enough money unless they're funded by the government to make it to next year. Like, I can't imagine no longer having the postal service. Not
Oh
saying I
my
send
god.
letters all the time, but, like, a
No,
lot of
but
my packages come
bitch,
through there.
Amazon.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, Amazon and all the other things, which
Oh, no, I guess Amazon does it themselves now, huh?
yeah. Yeah.
Never mind. Alright,
Although although they do use third party, so they do sometimes
Mm,
use other
mhm.
sources. But
eBay as we know it would end.
so many companies ship through USPS because it was cheaper than like FedEx or UPS,
Mhm,
but now that's not going to be the case. And there's already the tariffs too. So if you're buying shit from like other countries, there's huge taxes on anything you're buying. Like
mhm,
I literally bought these like foot things, like these foot acupressure things that we found in Japan when we were there that really
mm.
helped with foot pain, and you wear them overnight. And I wish we would have stocked up when we were there. I didn't realize just like how often we would use them, and also like how inaccessible it would be since being back here. And so I found a store that ships from Japan to here, and I
Mhm.
got some, and like the tax on that was, I think it was basically $25 more expensive than normal. And then they recently sent me another tariff charge after I received the product, and it was $18. And I'm like, what the actual fuck? So
Jeez.
that shit is happening too. And it's like, pretty soon it's going to be really hard to get stuff from
Mm.
China, or which is where a lot of things are coming from, guys.
'Cause, like,
Uh,
look at anything you own, it probably says made in China, okay? It's not just because of what Trump says.
yeah, it's no, and it's like China or Thailand or Indonesia, like those are usually the top ones that things come from, but like it's going to be really hard for people to get anything,
Yeah.
and even Amazon, a lot of the stuff on Amazon is coming from China. So that's why Amazon prices have been more too, more than usual. And they try to make it look like, oh, it's on sale, it's 10% off or 20% off. But if you look at the history of the price, because Amazon has like this AI like tracker thing built in, it can show you the history of the price of like any product, and
No.
you'll see the difference.
Dude, is that how people study for The Price is Right? It should
Probably,
be. It should be.
right? Just look at Amazon, you'll
Yes,
get it. It's
you'll get
fine.
it. Oh my god, you'll even be able to count in inflation.
Yeah.
Factor that in. Oh my
Uh,
god, that's funny.
but also just like on a more heavier note with this war too,
Mm,
but it is something that needs to be talked about, because I feel like no one's really talking about the casualties from this war. But
yeah.
in Iran, as of March, this past March,
Which
so
again, this
there,
started February 28th.
yeah, and now it's April 1st, so obviously we won't have the most updated, but in Iran, over 1,937 people have been killed and 24,800 plus have been injured, including women and children. Israeli casualties, 20 to 24 killed and over 6,000 injured. US casualties as of recent, I think the number is at 13 deaths reported. So, and most being, I think most, if not all, have been military members. Um, so obviously that number is going to go up as we continue, but I really just want to highlight, like, not that we're comparing deaths to,
But
based on the
that's
country, but obviously Iran is suffering a lot more here.
yeah, that's insane.
Yeah.
Literally over 100 times
Mhm.
more casualties. than the States.
Yep.
Oh
It's
my
insane.
god.
And
That's jarring.
and on top of that, we got to think about displacement too, because as we continue bombing civilian areas, guess what? People that have survived those blasts now have to move because their entire home is destroyed. So we're looking at least 3.2 million people are going to be displaced because of that. There's 2 billion in damage uh, to US military systems because they've been targeting our radar, communication, and anti-missile defenses. uh, let's see, we have lost at least 12 MQ-9 drones, which those are really expensive. And Israel has targeted numerous airfields and missile sites. So it's not only expensive, but it's costing a lot of lives here. And this war, like how it started illegally and how it's going illegally.
Illegally.
Like, it just I don't understand. It's like people who still somehow support Trump after all this, and literally, like, you know what? I am gonna talk about this because I am
Yeah.
gonna call my mother out. Um, the other day, we had a conversation because she was on vacation or whatever, and I somehow the war came up, and I asked her if she had known that my cousin, which yeah, would be her nephew, uh, if she knew that he had been deployed because he's a Marine and
Mhm.
he's on one of those ships that was deployed there recently, and she was
Which is
like, "Well,
terrifying.
yeah," and I mean, he literally just turned 21, and
Ugh.
yeah, just got married. So he we were told by our aunt, and so my mom was like, "Well, I heard that he might get deployed. I didn't hear the latest, like if it happened." And I was like, "Yeah, I mean that ship has sailed, literally."
Literally. Oh.
So yeah, and this is what she said next. "Well, it is what happens. There's war, and that's what people sign up for. So I guess you really shouldn't be surprised." And I just felt so cringed after that. I was just like, "Oh, gross. I can't believe you just said that."
Yeah, like, okay, forget surprise, take that out of the equation. That doesn't mean I can't feel feelings.
Right.
Are you
Like, do you not care? And are you
about
gonna
your nephew?
and if he dies, are you gonna tell his parents, "Well, he signed up
Well,
for it."
yep, that's what she asked for. Are we blaming the victim again?
Yeah.
Ugh.
It's like no respect. And so then I asked my mom, I was like, "Well, I don't know if you knew, but one of David's friends just died. He was one of the first 6 to be killed in this war." And he was not warned. There was no warning, there was no nothing, and it shouldn't have happened. And
Mhm.
she just said, "Oh, no, we didn't know." And that
Yep.
was it. Like, no.
All because Trump decided that he was above Congress and the law, and he could just bomb wherever he wanted to bomb and do whatever he wanted to do.
Yeah. Convincing his followers and Fox News that we were protecting Iran from their leader,
While we kill their
even
children.
though yes, even though and while we scream, oh, while they scream, "Save the children" here, and they
Mm,
try to make it about abortion, but
right.
then this happens. Or no gun laws have changed, so children continue to be shot up at schools. Like, how is that hashtag "Save the children"? I'm not
Yeah.
seeing it. It doesn't make sense here. And there was no reason for us to take that school out. No reason. And
Mm,
it's just like, really, like, you convinced all these people when the next leader, which was the leader's son, obviously gets passed down to the next heir. He is just as bad, if not worse, than his father was as far as
Mm.
like ideals and stuff. So he took over and then they killed his wife. And then he was like, oh, we're definitely about to get down because you just killed my wife. Like,
Mm.
what? Why would we? Why?
Hmm.
Why?
Lord knows I don't.
Oh,
I can't. There's just so much to
this to
sigh.
say,
So much to
Pete
say.
Hegseth,
Huh?
Pete Hegseth, Pete Hegseth is now saying that this is the Holy War, and
Oh my
he
god,
is
I saw that.
literally, yeah, he's literally using scripture from the Old Testament in Leviticus to basically say that we have to take down our enemy, we have to burn them and destroy them, and the wrath of God will be there to help us. That's literally what he's telling our military.
Right, and
Like,
actually, I'm trying to find what I saw earlier because I can't believe I didn't save it. There were several, I wanna say, like, 40 calls made to an organization that, is for military, but it's not military, and it's, like, on behalf of the soldiers, kinda like a union, but it's not a real union and it's not recognized. But it is, like, kind of a good, out of the military reporting line, kinda whistleblowing kinda line,
mhm.
is my understanding. Several military members, captains, not necessarily captains, but, like, people who are in charge of teams, were told to, uh, to express to their troops that Trump was anointed, that's what it was. Trump was anointed by God to start the apocalypse and to, basically save Israel and the world. But I think the reason I didn't say it, you know what? This was the reason I didn't say it. So the story's incredible, so we can keep that in. It was the MRFF, Military Religious Freedom Foundation. Um, the only news source I could find that mentioned that part about the troops saying that they were expected to say that, Trump was anointed by Jesus and it was all part of God's divine plan. Oh, to light the signal fire in Iran, by the way. He was anointed by Jesus to light the signal fire in Iran to cause Armageddon, was how this was put to the MRFF. But the reason I want to just, again, sprinkle some salt on it is that the only article I could find that referenced the, whole story of that part of the story was, just a Yahoo News, and I don't know, I just don't know how trustworthy it is. So I don't know if it's being suppressed or if it maybe was just, like, somebody said it and somebody ran with it. So
Oh, I could see it really being either
oh, for sure,
or.
especially with Hegseth calling it a holy war.
Yeah, that has
Absolutely.
been gone viral,
Yeah,
but
that's been all over the place for sure.
yeah, and he's honestly a psycho. And I'm like, okay, if you're gonna be preaching from the Old Testament, let me just call you out for all the sins you have. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? It's like, are you
May
kidding me?
may he who has no sin cast the first stone.
Yeah.
Anyways, so we've unloaded a lot of information. Is there anything else you would like to say, my dear, about the war in Iran before we proceed?
Well, I think, the biggest takeaway here is just that this is impacting the world. Like, this isn't
Mhm.
just impacting the US. This isn't just impacting Iran. This is everywhere. And not only is it causing, oil to go crazy, but it's also supply chains and
Mhm.
shortages on so many other things. This is going to cause a global recession.
Yep.
So again, it's not just inflation in America, it's going to affect everyone. And the longer this war continues, the worse that's, gonna take as far as like our resources. And so then there's just, yeah, there's the food security concerns and all of that too. And I think it's just it's just insane. And like
Yeah.
I don't know what he is gonna announce tonight in the stupid address that we have to wait for. I mean, it's probably just gonna be a lot of the same bullshit.
Mhm.
Him lying about there being a ceasefire or a deal or whatever the fuck. Or maybe he'll just go scorched earth and just say, fuck the deal, we're just gonna nuke them. Because
Mhm.
there was a um former he was the counterterrorism, like the chief of counterterrorism for Homeland Security, and he
Mhm.
literally just quit his job in protest. His
Yep.
name's Joe Kent, I believe is his name. Let's see, let me make sure I got that right. Yes. He's the former director of the United States National Counterterrorism Center, and he recently quit because he said that there's concerns and talk and lots of warning signs of America going nuclear on Iran. And so he quit his job in protest of that. And he
Yeah.
is part of the Republican Party, y'all. Like he was a Trump official, like picked out.
Yeah.
And even he was like, no, fuck this.
Yeah.
And so not only is he brave for resigning, but he's also brave for talking about these concerns and the potential of us going nuclear on that. Like, I don't think people understand. Like, there's literally a thing called mutually assured destruction. We
Mhm.
learned that after World War II, after we did that to Japan. And so I just want to bring that up because recently the prime minister in Japan, who is she's conservative, but she's their first female prime minister, which, yeah, at first I was excited, but then when I learned who she is and what her views are, I was like, oh, fuck, okay, never mind. Uh, but she was recently at the White House and talking to Trump about, various deals and stuff. Well,
Mhm.
he made a comment in front of her and it was live, like everyone heard it, but he literally talked about us bombing Hiroshima. And
No, no, he said it was Pearl Harbor.
he talked about both.
Did
So
he? Oh my god, I only saw the Pearl Harbor bit. Oh my
he
god.
talked about how they did it to us and how we did it back to them. And so I almost felt like that was his way of pointing that out to Iran, like, if you're, if you do it to us, you bet your ass we're doing it back. However, we're going to do it first before you can even think about doing it to us. That's how it
Mhm.
came across to me, especially in light of what Joe Kent said. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, this is definitely like, yeah, maybe it's a conspiracy, but at the same time, like, the risks and red flags are there.
Mhm.
And if that does happen, I mean, Russia has already sided with Iran.
Mhm.
So we can just think about it that way.
Yeah,
Like,
right. No one has ever taken Russia. No one will ever take Russia. You cannot survive Russia if you are not Russian.
yeah, and there's a reason why we, after the Cold War, like, it was decided, well, there's no point to do this because we all will die. Like, eh,
Seriously.
it's not worth it. And
If
so,
I'm going down, I'm taking everybody with me.
for real. And so I also saw this thing, and again, like, obviously, this is, again, take it with a grain of salt. I don't really know if I believe it or not, but this
Mhm.
guy, 10 years ago, he did this interview and he claimed he had an encounter with an alien, like a female one, who was the leader of whatever. I don't even know. Like, I don't remember the names that were used, but anyways, he had this encounter with her, and
Mm.
she foretold of the future that this year, 2026, March 2026, there would be a war between us, Israel, and Iran.
Ooh.
And yeah, and she talked about how there would it would get to the point where nuclear becomes an option. And she basically said that their species don't intervene, but they would intervene for this
Oh, shit.
because
They're gonna
because
save us?
because uh yeah, because if this happens, the entire earth would, it would be destroyed. Like there would
Oh
not
my
really be much
oh my
left.
god, oh
So
my god, the doctor is coming, you guys. It's happening, let's go to London.
but even so, it to me, like, I was like, okay, talking about this alien encounter, like we've heard a lot of different, stories about this, and like now there's been a little bit more coming out even from our government about UFOs and everything, but the fact that whoever this was, like,
Mhm.
predicted that it would be in 10 years, March 2026, and then
Bitch
that's
tried to warn
literally
us.
happening. Right. She literally was, and, like, she told him that humanity, like, we are destroying ourselves. And so,
Mhm.
in that retrospect, it's like, okay, she's not wrong.
Mm.
So, hey man, if and she, like, mentioned something about there would be like a dome of energy to protect the country that's getting nuked. So I was like, that's kind of wild too. But I also was thinking, well, technically, like, Israel has that defense shield that's kind of like
Right.
a dome. So I don't know if they were referring to that or if all of this shit is made up. I don't know. But either
I
way, it's
I don't
interesting.
know, but I'm still convinced that that dome is meant for World War Z.
Yeah.
They saw those Zambos get over that wall and they said, "Uh-uh, no, sir. No, sir, there will not be an over the wall."
Right.
Oh my
And
goodness.
also, since we were talking about Joe Kent, with other news that he's been in recently, so he also, after quitting his job, told, like, he went on a podcast and he did some other interviews and said that he would help, um, either be like a witness or help defend Tyler Robinson in the case of the assassination of Charlie Kirk, because he doesn't believe that Tyler Robinson is responsible. And as of yesterday, the investigation determined the bullet does not match
Hell
Tyler Robinson's
yeah.
gun. So now we are no like he really isn't wrong about that either. Like,
Shit's
and
starting
to
to
me,
crumble.
yeah, like, I feel like he knows who's responsible, and he's gonna be that potential, like, whistleblower,
Mm,
and that would just be wild. But yeah, the whole thing with Tyler Robinson, look it up, y'all. It's super interesting.
that is crazy. I did see that as well. So you did mention the thing in Japan, and I want to say that thank you, Japan, because they also participated in all of the No Kings protests on Saturday, March 28th. And I did want to shout out everyone who was able to attend. My town did have one. There was unfortunately an incident and an arrest because two they called them counter protesters. The sheriff's department called them counter protesters. Good old boys were walking through the crowd yelling at people with beer in their hand, and recording as they went. And then they happened across a library board member and just started shouting her name. "Oh, what are you doing here?" And this is all on their video. Uh, and basically saying, "Oh, she works here. She works here. You shouldn't even have that job. They should remove you from that position. You shouldn't be here. This is un-American," and all this other shit. They followed her for about 100 yards through the crowd. People were trying to get her away from them. She did not say a word the whole time. She walked over into a group of people, and one of them had a little bullhorn. And while the guys were continuing to harass this poor woman, the guy with the bullhorn turned the siren on right behind one of the dude's heads. And the counter protester dumped his beer into Homeboy's bullhorn and on him. So the protester, the one with the bullhorn, bopped him on the back of the head with the bullhorn. I'm so sorry. I did not mean to laugh. I really genuinely just can't stop playing it in my head. And it was literally this little, just like, what the fuck, dude? Like a little boop.
Oh
And
my
the guy starts grinning ear to ear and just going, "Oh, he assaulted me. Oh, oh, oh." And the guy, the No Kings protester ended up, the one who bopped him, got arrested. I'm like, bitch, he threw a drink at him. That's assault too, and open carry of a beer.
God.
What the hell is happening here?
What in the
But
fuck, Karen?
what in the fuck? But overall, aside from such stupidity that happens in my hometown, um, the No Kings protests were very, I would call them successful. Huge numbers. Maggie has the numbers if you'd like to give us them numbers.
Yeah, they're still tracking the numbers. For anyone that follows or knows Aaron Parnas, he's my go-to journalist for all the updates, but he reported that the latest number he received was 10 million, and that's worldwide. So I
Wow.
think 8 in the US and then 2 million like elsewhere.
Yeah.
So that's pretty huge. It broke history's records again with protests, which I honestly think each one is just going to continue getting bigger. Now,
Yeah, from what it looked like, it was like the first one was 3 million, the second one was 7 million, and this one in the States was like 8 million or something.
yeah.
And then the reason I mentioned Japan is because, like we said, it was worldwide. According to Wikipedia, that's still what I'm using right now, sorry. Other countries that participated include Australia, Austria, Canada, Costa Rica, Ecuador, France, Germany, Greece, Iceland, Ireland, Italy, Japan, Kenya, Mexico, the Netherlands, Portugal, St. Lucia, Spain, Sweden, Switzerland, Thailand, and the United Kingdom. And for that, we say thank you.
Yes. Seriously, thank you,
Sincerely.
because it gives us hope to see that other countries and people are seeing, what we're going through. And I know a lot of it is because they've experienced it themselves too.
Mhm.
And it just feels nice to know that there really are united people.
Yeah, good people who see, like you said, who see what's happening and aren't taken in by the shiny that's being dangled.
Yeah.
It's very
Yeah.
nice. We do have a couple of more honorable mentions we want to make as far as current events. But then I think we're gonna take a turn, and I've got a very funny Reddit story, and I think we could use it.
Okay.
So first of all, we did want to address for our LGBTQ plus fans that we're holding hands with you this week as the Supreme Court overturned Colorado's ban on conversion camps. That is crushing. And if you, like Maggie said to me earlier, if you have looked into conversion camps, they are disturbing. So schedule therapy after you do. Um, Also, we are absolutely not forgetting Epstein right now, and neither is Iran. I'll just say that they keep putting that shit in the in the propaganda too.
Yeah.
Anyways, so somehow in the midst of all of this, last week at Mar-a-Lago, there was a fashion show called the Palm Beach Fashion Week, and there were child models all up in there.
Mm,
As a parent, I would never walk my child into Mar-a-Lago. Never, ever, 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 ever. Anyways, wanted to mention that.
so
On
disturbing.
So disturbing. But I'm gonna end on a high note as far as the news goes, because today, I believe you said it was today, they are voting on HRES 1058, which is the Trans Bill of Rights. This comes straight from the congress.gov. Like the list, it says recognizing that it is the duty of the federal government to develop and implement a transgender Bill of Rights to protect and codify the rights of transgender and non binary people under the law and ensure their access to medical care, shelter, safety, and economic security. So, to Representative Jayapal, I apologize if I pronounced that incorrectly. Thank you for sponsoring this bill. And we wish you all the best of luck. All right.
Yay.
Amazing. Now for my story. So this comes from RTIFU, which if you don't know what that stands for, it's Today I Fucked Up. Ready for the title? You're not
Oh,
ready
yeah.
for the title. Today I fucked up by throwing my steak out a window.
Oh, man.
Mm,
Yeah.
okay.
That is a mistake because that's
Yep.
delicious.
Right? Waste. All right. So last night, my wife's boss from her brand new job invited us over for dinner. On the drive over, my wife reiterated many times to me just how important it was to make a good impression. I scoffed and arrogantly informed my silly wife that I always make good impressions. My wife's boss is a single lady in her 50s, so it was just the three of us. We chit chatted over drinks and salads and seemed to really be hitting it off. She laughed at my well timed, perfectly appropriate jokes, and my wife seemed pleased. Soon, she brought out the main course, a nice, big, juicy steak for each of us. As I began to cut into my steak, I was discouraged to discover how undercooked the steak was. Now, I've had my fair share of a rare steak. I prefer medium, but I can handle rare. This was several minutes on a hot grill short of rare. I probably could have resuscitated the cow had I tried. Dude, that's not how that works. Anyways, instead, I sat there fidgeting with my knife and fork, worrying about how I was going to get away with not eating this steak. Claim veganism? No, I'd already feigned great enthusiasm upon seeing the steak. Just then, our hostess excused herself to the kitchen to take care of some dessert preparations. As I looked across the fancy dining room table at the open window of this third-story apartment, a cartoon light bulb appeared over my head. I knew I had to be decisive, realizing that she could return at any moment. I committed. I grabbed the steak with my hand, gently shook off the juice, and executed a perfect throw right through the center of the open window. Here's the big time fuck up. The window was not open. It was the cleanest freaking window you've ever seen in your life. That is, until my mostly raw slab of steak slammed up against it and slowly slid down, leaving a trail of bloody juice in its wake. My wife, whose steak was a nice medium rare and was unaware of my predicament, turned, jaw dropped, and stared at me like I was an alien from another planet. This look then slowly morphed into more of a there is no place on this planet you can ever hide from me expression of demonic anger. My wife's boss heard the thud of the steak on window impact and came quickly. She took in the scene, the steak sitting on the windowsill, the blood trail, my empty plate, and then gave me an inquisitive, puzzled look. I just didn't know what to say. It felt like a minute of silence, but was probably 3 or 4 seconds. Finally, the best I could manage was, I'm so sorry. I am such a klutz. I don't know. I was just cutting it and it slipped. Just ask my wife. I really am a klutz, right, honey? No help coming from that direction. I will clean this up. I can't believe this. I am so sorry, etc., etc. Both women continued to stare at me like I had escaped from the loony bin as I smeared the blood around the window with my cloth napkin, dusted off the steak, and continued to mutter my incoherent explanation. I knew no one was buying my story. I knew what I had to do. I sheepishly returned to my seat and proceeded to eat every bite of that disgusting, cold, chewy, bloody, raw steak. I remained pretty quiet the rest of the evening. My wife's only 2 words to me since the incident are, I'm fine. TLDR tried to sneakily throw my undercooked steak through an open window only to find out it wasn't open. Oh,
Oh my god, that was crazy.
so if you ever fucked up, don't worry, you're not the only one.
Oh, man.
Oh
Um,
my goodness. This has been a very heavy episode, and I know a lot of them have been lately, but I like being able to add that lightness at the end. So I think we're gonna probably keep doing that.
Um, and I know we just did one, but I found one that's
Okay.
pretty fun.
Okay.
Um, and it reminded me of something that you or I would even do. So,
Okay. Cool.
all right. So shout out to, and again, this this story is like 11 years old, but I still love it. Cos Cosmo Ceratops is the person who posted it.
Oh shit.
So,
Mine was the user was defenestrate me now.
okay. Oh my
I
God.
forgot to say that. Sorry.
All right, so this goes, I was baked and singing karaoke when a fight broke out. I
Oh,
had sung karaoke before, but only a handful of times. I also chose songs that were more talking with style than actual singing. All through my first song, We Didn't Start the Fire, the little thing that bobs along to the words was like half a beat off. So
oh.
I was second guessing myself the whole time. In spite of that, I decided I would do actual singing. I submitted Round Here by the Counting Crows. First off, not a good karaoke choice. Not very upbeat or well known enough to make up for that. Second, I was baked. Had never been in that state while singing to a room full of people. Third, the bar was a shithole. I have a theory that bars only allow karaoke when their balls are an inch from the bandsaw. It's a last ditch effort to remain solvent. So I'm up there emoting. She wants to meet a boy who looks like Elvis. When I hear this smash, some lady broke a beer mug over some guy's head. They're rolling around on the floor like 10 feet away from me, and I have no idea what to do. So I keep singing. More people jump on the dog pile trying to separate the two. There's like 10 people in there, and through it all, I'm just tenderly serenading the bar with this song. This goes on for a while, screaming, feeble, and desperate attempts to swing at each other, with people trying to hold them back, and me trying my best to keep it together. The DJ cuts me off right at the good part, the very, very, very late. Turns out he was also the bouncer and was one of the first to dive right in. He asks if I want to start over, and I say, no, how are you supposed to top that? It's
Oh
like,
my
oh my
god.
God, that's so like that totally is something that I could see happening. And
Right?
if
And we
I
would
was
just awkwardly keep going, just like,
yep,
what am I supposed to do?"
except except the hilarious part is like you and I can sing. And so if we're like
Hey.
serenading or belting out like crazy notes while somebody's fighting like and wrestling on the ground.
Do you
Like,
know how epic that would be? That would be like the scene in Deadpool.
right?
Like,
Exactly.
"Oh, yes, I'm here for it. Let's do it. Somebody
Right?
start a fight."
It's fight, fight, fight. Yeah.
Let's
Oh my
start
god.
a
So
riot. Anyways,
I
oh
just
my god,
had
that
to
was
share
great.
that one.
That was awesome,
Yeah.
for sure.
So,
Well,
and with that, listeners, thank you for patiently listening and holding on as we talk about doom and gloom and then end with a funny, lighthearted note.
doom, gloom, and chaos, that's us. Hey, that's a good
Yeah.
episode title.
Oh my god, seriously? Yeah.
Awesome. Well, this has been educational and, in the end, cathartic and fun. Um, we always love the times that we get to record for you guys, so thank you for continuing to listen to us, and we will see you all next time.
May Loki be with you.
May Loki be with you. Bye.